Hi. So if you've been in my groups recently, you probably caught a theme of Rumi's guest house. Those wonderful lines about this being human as a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Welcome and entertain them all. Okay, awesome. Guest house. Hey, I'm a guest house. I'm the space of this and the guest, my parts, my thoughts, feelings, and sensations, these parts, any contraction, any one, any lovely part is a guest. They come and go. The house is open. This is the house, this is home, is here. But what if the guest house is haunted? No! What if it's haunted? And what does that mean to you? The guest house is haunted. There's nothing outside of us. They're just more what haunts the guest house. And this is where the journey just becomes so rich. What haunts the guest house? Is there Casper flying around? Are there a dozen Caspers? And what we've been finding in the work as this has become a recent theme, the hauntedness is just like what what is fear in your system? In our systems, right? Because we get to know this beingness of self that is the absence of lack. It's the absence of fear. It is fulfillment. It's the absence of resistance. There's no fear there in what we're calling beingness and self, right? In the space here, the space of the house, this awareness, this that welcomes. There's no fear, no lack. But so where's the fear? Where's where the ghosts come from? Well, they're parts, right? And generally, in EIFS, we call these the exiles. These are the parts. Generally, many of them are young parts. There's this sense of that feel the sense of separation. They might feel the aloneness. They feel maybe there's something they did wrong, maybe some shame, or maybe it's what the psychotherapists call like the original wound, the original attachment wound, the sense of separation, the sense of yearning for the connection, yearning for home. What is that in our systems? As we listen, as we explore, really listening to that, to hear the hauntedness, and I hope this isn't scary because it's really kind of fun and beautiful because I love the haunted house metaphor because I used to love haunted houses as a kid. Can you remember going to a haunted house? And the first time you go through, it's terrifying. They jump out, right? Masks, scary things, knives, axes, they're running after you, and like blood and just it's grotesque things and horrible it's like right, all of these the masks and the costumes that they come out, and you just run. It's like, get me out of here. I was a little kid, like, Dad, I don't like this. Get me out of here. But then, after probably about 10 years old, and my brother and I, like, we were horrible because what happens if you go through it again after you've gone through it the first time, right? You start knowing what's going to happen the second time, and maybe the second time when they jump out at you, go like boo back at them, or like woo, or you gotta hide or do play games like that. And so we would do that. But then you go through it the third time, the haunted house, and you start to see it doesn't work so much anymore, right? Because you start to say, oh wow, these are most of them they're young people, they're kids or teenagers. They're just kids wearing masks. And the third time for me, you start to see that, and then it's just, oh wow, aren't they having fun wearing the kids wearing masks? And so, what's that for our haunted house? For what's scared for our exiles? Like first, we feel their contractions, their pain, right? And this is what we want to avoid. We feel the sense of shame that might be there, the sense of what, the sense of I did something wrong, I'm not good enough, whatever's these are very typical, and many or most systems seem to carry a flavor of this underneath. They call it the original attachment wound again. And then, but if we can start hearing this, almost like you just listen, can you hear the voices that are just, and some of them, sometimes they call these God, what do they call this? Like the, the underground, I can't remember the word, for these voices, these ghosts. We hear them, and as we start to hear them, in time, as we get a little closer to them, it can be like that movie Casper. It's like Casper the Friendly Ghost. They fall in love with Casper. It's like, could that actually happen with our exiles, with our ghosts? As we hear, there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. Nobody loves me. I did something wrong. I'm going to get in trouble. I did something wrong. I did something wrong. It's just these, what are these exiles? These are just these parts that we weren't able to digest, to be with, to welcome, to feel in our youth. And now we see them and we can just, these are our ghosts. And in a way, like in the movie Casper, how awesome. Our house is haunted. Casper is here. Like, can we truly welcome these the ghosts, these exiles, they're just young parts of us that hadn't been welcomed. Can we truly welcome them? And then what happens? And first, for a long time, it might be like, wow, there's still ghosts, and there's that. But then it changes, right? Because then you just do what the founder of this work, Dick Schwartz, happened in his system. He just fell in love with everything, fell in love with everything that arises within him, and so that happens. It opens into love. And so with these ghosts, and that which makes them a ghost, the sense of this contraction, it ends up spontaneously unburdening, letting loose of that. And then I forget how Casper ended. Maybe he became a real boy or something. It's like whatever the wound is, it lets go. I'll have to pull that up. But and that's what happens. That's the beautiful EIFS process of unburdening that happens. It lets go of the contraction. Everything gets welcomed home. And then we just notice, and this is what seems to be the journey. Like at first we can't really hear the ghosts. You can't even see the exiles because we have these wonderful protectors that keep us safe. But in time, the system becomes safer as we start to recognize the ever presence of self. And then more and more we can hear those voices. We can hear the ghosts. We can hear the exiles. We can hear the fear, because this is where all the fear is in our system, right? It's like, because beingness, there's no fear there. And so as that happens, and then we get Casper, we get the ghost, and then eventually they unburden. So I hope that's helpful. This is brand new. Come play with us. I'd love feedback. See you. Bye.